In our line of work, it appears that chaos is the norm, situation normal. The negativity lurking, waiting around every corner, in every blind spot. It's everywhere, right? The job, the news, the conversations that we have in the break room, violence, frustration, the stress are always front and center. But what if I told you, get this, what if I told you that you find exactly what you're looking for? That if all you see, if all you focus on is the negativity, it's because that's what you were looking for. So today, we're going to talk about steering, where you stare, and how shifting your focus can protect your peace, right? And change the way that you experience the job. Greetings, my fearless frontliners, my fellow guardians of the galleries. I'm William Young, and this is my channel. And if you're new here, then welcome. Welcome to the channel. If you're a current aspiring, retired, or soon to be retiring correctional professional, and you're looking for correctional content that is informative and engaging and intended to educate and elevate, then I would say you, my friends, are in the right place. If you're looking for a channel that is talking trash about the profession or administration, or is full of gory war stories from somebody who only worked in the profession, only wore the uniform for a few weeks, well, sorry to disappoint, but this is not going to be that. And before we dig in, before we sink our teeth into the topic, I have to mention the members of the Just Corrections Patreon community, the JCP, for supporting this video, for supporting the channel, because without them, without you, I could not create the content that I create. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And if you're watching and you're listening and you would like to contribute to support the channel, well, I'll throw a link in the description below. Or if you'd rather not do that, if you have commitment issues and you'd rather not do that, you can buy a super thanks, which is just hitting that little button that says thanks right below me if you're watching this on YouTube. There's a concept in driving, especially in high speed or defensive driving, called steering, where you stare. And it goes like this. If you fixate right on the ditch, you're going to end up in the ditch. And if you focus on the road that's ahead, well, then that's where you're going to go. And I like that. And because life is no different. I was actually given this tidbit, this little nugget of knowledge from my therapist, and I love it. It's great. So I wanted to pass it along to you. So think about it. If every day you wake up and you expect the worst, then you're going to find it. If you walk into the facility, if you walk in a roll call and you're looking for drama, it's going to be there. If all you do is focus on the violence, the negativity, the frustration, then guess what? That will become your world. That's what your world will become. But the same is true for the good, right? So if you train yourself to see the positive, then you're going to find it, because it is there. You just have to look for it. And I talk a lot about this in my writing because it's personal to me, right? Working in corrections changes you. In fact, in my new book, Train to Change, and I have to plug this every chance that I get, I want to read you the very first part of this, right? It says, this tidbit, this tenet that I'm going to offer up should be seen as correctional canon and accepted as the fundamental truth in our field. The following statement should be discussed and overstated until every officer understands and acknowledges it as law. So here it is. The correctional environment will change you. Working in corrections will change you. It hardens you. It makes you cynical. But what to what degree, right? All those changes happen depend on you. Those are all dependent on you. I've seen some good people who come into this job with purpose and drive turn into shells of themselves because they let the negativity consume them. It overtakes them. And honestly, folks, I was almost one of them. And that's sort of what started me on this journey. And that's why I wrote this book, Train to Change, right? To break down, to highlight how the job rewires our thinking, how we go from seeing the world one way to seeing something entirely different. And it's not just the job itself, right? It's the training, it's the experiences, it's the way that we soak up, that we absorb everything around us. And if you don't stay aware, you can end up trapped in that cycle of negativity. But here's the thing, you are not powerless. You are absolutely not powerless. You can choose to see things differently. You can choose to find the good. You can choose to protect your peace. So how do we do this? How do you actually protect your peace and shift your focus? How do you train yourself to see the good when the bad is it's screaming for your attention? Because let's be real. And here's the deal. Nobody's going to do it for you. This is one of those things where you have to take responsibility for what you focus on, and it's going to start with these 5 things, right? Number 1, start your shift with intention. Before you step through the doors, just take a breath. Relax like this. Do it with me real quick. Okay, we're going to start. Ready? Shake it out. Do you feel a little bit better right there? So before you step through the doors, take a breath. I do this sometimes still, and people don't believe me. There's still some units that I walk in and out of, even when I'm in another city, touring another state, touring their facility. I still get that anxiety like I'm going to work, right? So I take a breath and I recenter myself. I refocus right there in the parking lot, in the break room, before you even put your boots on the ground, in the locker room, wherever. Remind yourself, right? I will not let the negativity consume me today. I will find good. I will find purpose in what it is that I do. Say it loud if you have to. Because if you don't set the tone for your day, the job, right, the things that are happening around you, the people that are taking up space around you, they're going to do it for you. And trust me, you don't want the job. You don't want those people setting the tone for you. So number 2, you have to control your inputs. What are you taking in? What are you feeding your mind? Because I promise you, your brain is always on. It's always listening. And if you're surrounding yourself with negativity, social media, the news, right, in conversations that you entertain, it's absolutely no wonder that you feel so drained. So stop doom scrolling. Stop engaging in toxic event sessions that have no purpose other than to keep everybody miserable, right? Instead, feed your mind things that make you better, that make you feel better. Read something uplifting. Listen to something inspiring. And if you're going to vent, then that's fine. But make sure that you end the conversation with a solution, with a plan. Give yourself a call to action, right? Just don't sit there and complain. Number 3, let's start calling out the good when we see it, right? We're so quick. We're so quick and so good at calling out the bad, right? We blast a bad policy. We talk shit about a bad administrative decision or a bad inmate or coworker in a heartbeat. But what about the good? When do we highlight the good? When's the last time you pulled a coworker aside and you told them, "Hey, I saw how you handled that situation. That was great. That was terrific. That was solid work." When's the last time you actually thanked someone for making your life a little easier, your shift a little easier? See, the more you speak about the good, the more real that those things become, right? And in a job where recognition is rare, right? We do not do a very good job recognizing ourselves and each other. Sometimes you have to be the one that gives that recognition. You guys ever feel like this job is changing you, like the weight of the walls are pressing in and you're not necessarily the same person who walked through those gates? Well, you're not imagining things. Corrections, the training, the trauma, the time that we spend inside rewires the way we think, react, and the way we see the world. And that's exactly why I wrote my new book, Train to Change: The Unfortunate and Unintentional Consequences of the Correctional Curriculum. It's a deep dive into how this career shapes us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and more important, how we take back control. So whether you're a rookie or a veteran, this book right here, this tool, will help you recognize the hidden impacts of the job and give you the tools to push back, stay sharp, and protect your well-being if you're in this profession or you know somebody who is. Grab this book, read this book, use this book as a tool to educate and elevate yourself and the profession. Get your copy of Train to Change today, available on Amazon. I'll throw the link in the description. Start taking control of your story today. And hey, if you've already read it, leave me a review and let me know what you think. Start changing. Let's start changing the conversation about mental health and corrections, normalizing the conversation in mental health and corrections together. Number 4, keep a mental or physical list of wins, right? No, every day, no matter how shitty things were, no matter how rough things were, find one good thing. Maybe you helped a new officer navigate a situation. Maybe you made somebody laugh. Maybe you just got through the shift without losing your shit, and that's okay. Write it down. And when one of those days where everything feels heavy, look back at that list. Because you're doing more good than you realize. You just have to remind yourself. And this is also one of the things that I'm passing on from my therapist, right? The suggestion was to, in my little pocket notebook, right, to write those things down, and then to keep them, and then pull them out when you have to go back and you have to look at them and say, that was a good thing that happened. That officer did do a good thing. I want to recognize that because it helps. Number 5, you need to guard your peace. All right, guard your peace. Your peace is yours, and nobody can steal it. Nobody can take it from you unless you hand it over to them. So stop letting toxic people, bad attitudes, negative environments dictate your mindset, right? You are not obligated to engage in every argument. You are not required to carry anyone else's stress or baggage. Your peace, right, is your responsibility. So protect it. Or protect it fiercely, because at the end of the day, your world isn't going to slow down for you, right? The world isn't going to slow down for you. The job is not going to magically get easier, but you, right? You can get stronger. You can get better. And it all starts with where you decide to put your focus. Listen, I'm not saying that this is easy, right? This may be one of those things that's easier to make a YouTube video about than it is to actually do it, right? Because the negativity is always going to be there. It's loud. It's in your face, and it feeds on your attention, but you don't have to give it control, right? That's the control. You don't have to give it control. You steer where you stare. So today I challenge you, right? And I got a buddy, Roland. I want to give Roland a quick shout out. He hates when I say that I challenge him, but I challenge him to stare at the good, to look at the good, to find the moments that make the job, that make your life meaningful. Protect your peace. And if you can't find the good in the world, this is going to sound like a platitude here, but that's I don't care. If you can't find the good, be the good. If you can't see the light, then be the light, and all that. It's up to you. You are in control of that. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Thank you for listening, for watching this episode of the podcast. I got new episodes coming at you every day, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Set a reminder on your phone or your Google Calendar so you never miss an episode. And I actually put a link in the description of these videos that you can click on, and it'll add it to your Google Calendar. So make sure you subscribe to the show. Follow the show on YouTube or whatever podcast platform that you prefer. You can also follow me on Facebook, X, Instagram, LinkedIn. Leave a comment, get involved, engage, share the show with your friends, your family, your fellow correctional professionals, everybody, the Just Corrections podcast. And if you're interested in supporting the show, again, consider becoming a member of the Just Corrections Patreon community. There are a couple of different tiers, different options, so check that out. I'll have a link to the description below in this video. A really cool thing before you go that I'm doing for the Patreon community is I'm breaking down my books, the chapters. I'm reading the chapters. I'm giving you sort of a behind-the-scenes author cut of what went into the book. So that's a little fun thing that I'm doing for the members of the Patreon community. So if you're interested in that, click the link, support the channel, and get some extra content that other people aren't going to get. Don't forget to check out the books, guys. Available on Amazon, Train to Change, The Nothing That Never Happened. And if you'd like to bring me out to speak or present at your event, send me an email at justcorrections.booking@gmail.com. All right, guys, that's all I got. Until next time, be smart, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll talk soon.